Hold up. What did we just witness? The internet is in total meltdown right now because apparently it's over for Drake. Yeah, you heard me right, Aubrey Graham, the Six God himself. Might have just been banned from LA forever after a wild chain of events that nobody saw coming, and the man behind it all. None other than Kendrick Lamar, Compton's very own lyrical assassin. Now, before you roll your eyes thinking this gotta be cap, listen, this ain't your average rap beef. This is personal, messy, and straight up Hollywood-level drama. We're talking betrayal, broken alliances, leaked voice notes, and even whispers that Drake got pressed outside a secret after-party in Beverly Hills. And guess who was in the building? Yup, Kendrick. And apparently, things went from "it's all love" to "don't ever step foot in this city again" in a matter of minutes. Sources close to both camps are saying this all started after Drake allegedly threw some subliminals in his latest unreleased track. One that might have been a direct shot at Kendrick's family. And if you know Kendrick, you know he don't play about his people. Word on the street is that was the final straw. He called up some heavy hitters in LA and made one thing clear: Drake's passes in the city revoked. Now, fans are split down the middle. OVO supporters are calling cap. But TDE stans are saying Kendrick finally gave Drake the humbling he's been dodging for years. People are digging up old interviews, dissecting every lyric, and even dragging Drake's team into the drama. And trust me, what's coming next in this story will have you questioning everything you thought you knew about the UX. I said you knew about the UX versus Kendrick rivalry. Because this time, it's way deeper than rap. So boom. Let's start from the night that changed everything. It was supposed to be just another star-studded evening in Law, flashy cars pulling up to the Sunset Tower. Paparazzi lights flashing and the usual Hollywood energy buzzing through the air. But behind all the glitz, something dark was brewing. People in the industry had been whispering for weeks that Kendrick Lamar wasn't happy. Not about streams, not about awards, but about respect. And when it comes to respect, Kendrick don't play games. A few nights earlier, Drake had previewed an unreleased track at a private OVO listening party in Toronto. The crowd went crazy, but a short clip leaked online, and that's where the fire started. In the snippet, Drake drops a slick bar. "You talk crown talk, but never left your block. King of what?" On its own, it sounded like typical Drake braggadocio. But fans online connected the dots immediately. "He's talking about Kendrick," one fan posted on X, and within hours. #Drakowskani was trending. Kendrick didn't respond at first. He never does. But Law started buzzing. People close to Teed said Kendrick took that line personally, especially because he'd been quiet for a while, working on community projects, staying off the rap radar. To him, it wasn't just about lyrics. It was about disrespect. About someone trying to downplay everything he built from Compton. To the world stage that the tension came to a head at a birthday event for one of the biggest Hollywood producers, a spot where you'd find everyone from LeBron to Travis Scott. Drake walked in surrounded by his usual crew, cameras following every move. What he didn't know was that Kendrick had already been inside for hours, chilling low-key in a corner with his cousin Baby Keem and a few close friends. People say the moment Drake walked in, the energy shifted. A witness said it was like the temperature dropped. You could feel it. Everybody went quiet for a second. Even the DJ switched the song. Drake spotted Kendrick from across the room, gave a polite nod, but Kendrick didn't move. Just stared at him, no expression. Baby Keem leaned over, whispered something in his ear. And Kendrick just smiled. That cold, quiet smile that says, "Yeah, we got something coming." An hour later, Drake was laughing it up with some execs near the bar when someone from Kendrick's side reportedly approached him. The exchange was short but heated. "You've got something to say? Say it to the man," the guy said. Drake, trying to keep it cool, replied, "Tell your boy I don't do sneak disses. I do music." That line right there, it lit the match. Kendrick stood up, walked over calm, but with purpose. People started recording on their phones. Security started moving in. Kendrick looked Drake dead in the eyes and said, "You keep talking crowns, but forgot whose city you in." Drake smirked, took a sip of his drink and said, "Man, I got love for LA, you know that?" Kendrick leaned in just enough for the cameras not to catch it and whispered something that, according to one witness, made Drake's whole mood change. Some say he told Drake "don't love you back." The room got tense. No shouting, no fight, just that heavy silence where you know things just shifted forever. Drake left the party early that night, and a few hours later, videos started surfacing online. Grainy clips, people saying, "Yo, Kendrick pressed Drake in law." Some thought it was fake. Others swore they saw it happen. By morning, every blog from Say Cheese to academics had picked it up. Headlines like "Kendrick confronts Drake in law" were everywhere. And then, out of nowhere, Kendrick dropped an Instagram story, just a black screen with the words, "Respect the coast." No tags, no captions. That one sentence broke the internet. Fans started speculating that it meant Drake was officially done in LA. Behind the scenes, Drake's team was scrambling. OVO insiders said Drake felt blindsided, like Kendrick was turning something small into a full-blown war. He even hit up a few mutual industry folks trying to clear the air. But it was too late. The narrative had already spun out of control. Blogs were running stories about the city, choosing sides, with some local artists posting cryptic tweets like, "You can't buy your way into every hood." Meanwhile, Kendrick was staying silent, which made it worse. When Kendrick goes quiet, it means he's plotting. Rumors started swirling that he was working on a response track. People close to Teed hinted that he'd been in the studio with Keem, and even some West Coast legends, crafting something that was going to end all the debates. Drake tried to move forward like nothing happened, even posting pictures from his studio with a caption, "All love." But fans weren't buying it. Comment sections were filled with bros banned from LA jokes, and paparazzi even caught him at LAX looking tense. One clip showed a fan yelling, "You can't come back to La." And Drake just laughed it off, but the look in his eyes said it all. A week later, things escalated again. A popular La DJ went live and said, "Word in the streets is Kendrick made the call. No more Drake songs in certain clubs." First, people thought it was cap. But then videos surfaced from LA nightlife spots, Drake's hits getting skipped mid-set. DJs were literally cutting the songs and switching to Kendrick tracks. That's when fans knew this wasn't just a rap beef. This was a full cultural shift. Then came the leak. An audio clip hit Reddit late one night, supposedly a phone convo between two industry insiders. In the clip, a voice that sounds eerily like someone from Kendrick's team says, "He disrespected the West. We closing the gates?" Whether it was real or fake didn't matter. The damage was done. Every platform picked it up, calling it the Laban. By now, Drake's camp was in panic mode. OVO associates started reaching out to West Coast promoters trying to confirm if his upcoming LA show was still good to go. One promoter allegedly told them, "We don't want that smoke. Not right now." And just like that, the whispers became reality. Drake's name was suddenly radioactive in the city that used to welcome him with open arms. Kendrick, meanwhile, was seen at a community event in Compton the next morning, smiling, laughing with kids, acting like none of it was even happening. The contrast was wild. Drake's empire looking shaky while Kendrick looked untouchable, like he'd just reclaimed something bigger than music. And that's when things took another wild turn. Because apparently, Drake wasn't done yet. Behind closed doors, he was plotting his next move. All right, so boom, here's where it starts to really heat up. Drake might have been quiet in public, but behind the scenes, man was scheming hard. The word is, he felt cornered, embarrassed even. Like, imagine being one of the biggest artists on the planet, and suddenly people saying, "You can't show face in LA." For Drake, that wasn't just about ego. That was about power, status, legacy. The West Coast was too important to lose, especially when your whole image is about global dominance. So he started calling up people, not just industry heads, but street-connected figures too. And that's when things started to get messy. Rumors say Drake linked up with some longtime Los Angeles promoters to clear the air. One of them, who wanted to stay anonymous, told a blog, "Drake didn't come on no tough guy stuff. He came on respect." But by then, the streets had already chosen sides. Basically, it didn't matter what Drake said. The energy in law had flipped. People were looking at him different now. Like, he wasn't just an outsider. He was an outsider who disrespected one of their own. Kendrick, on the other hand, wasn't even saying much. He was letting the city talk for him. Everywhere you went, from Crenshaw to Inglewood, folks were debating. Did Kendrick really ban Drake? Even older heads who usually stayed out of music beefs were chiming in. One OG said on a local podcast, "Look, it's deeper than lyrics." Kendrick gave back to the hood. Drake, he just flew in for parties and photo ops. That's the difference. That statement went viral overnight. But Drake wasn't backing down. 2 weeks later, he surprised fans by dropping a new freestyle on SoundCloud called City Views. The beat was cold, cinematic, pure OVO vibes. But the lyrics, oof, pure smoke. He didn't say Kendrick's name, but the shots were obvious. You call it your block, I call it my tour stop. When I land, they line up more than your album drop. Fans lost their minds. OVO diehards were hyped, claiming Drake just took back law. But the West Coast? They were not feeling it. Within hours, the comments were flooded with angry responses. One said, "He still don't get it. This ain't about charts, it's about heart." Kendrick didn't respond online again. But people noticed something subtle. A mural in downtown Law that used to feature Drake's face next to other legends got painted over that same night. No one knew who did it, but the timing, way too convenient. Fans started calling it the mural message. That was Kendrick's style. No tweets, no press releases. Just quiet symbolism that hit harder than any diss track. Then came the shocking twist nobody saw coming. A week after Drake's City Views freestyle, a leaked snippet surfaced online. It was allegedly from Kendrick's upcoming project, and in that 30-second clip, you could hear him rapping, "You can't buy the coast, it don't come with receipts." The internet exploded. Everyone knew exactly who he was talking about. The snippet went so viral that even people outside the hip-hop world were talking about it. Celebrity gossip pages were posting memes like Drake trying to sneak back into Law, like with pictures of people in disguises. It was everywhere. But then something real crazy happened. A source claimed that Kendrick's people had made it known if Drake tried to perform in LA, there'd be problems. Now, nobody knew what that meant exactly, but promoters started backing out of Drake's West Coast tour stops left and right. Some said it was scheduling issues, others said production delays. But everyone in the industry knew the truth. The city was closing its doors on him. Behind the scenes, OVO insiders said Drake was furious. One of his close associates reportedly told a blog he feels betrayed. He's helped these same people. He gave exposure to half the game, and now they're turning their back. But what Drake didn't realize was that this was never just about music. It was about loyalty. Kendrick had that deep-rooted West Coast respect that money couldn't buy. And that was something Drake couldn't fight with hits or headlines. Kendrick, meanwhile, was moving like a chess player. He appeared on a surprise verse in a new Baby Keem song that dropped suddenly at midnight. The track was called Boundaries, and man, that verse. Pure venom. Ain't no passes when you trespass on purpose. Kendrick rapped. Fans went crazy dissecting every line. And by morning, Boundaries had climbed to #1 on Apple Music. Kendrick hadn't said Drake's name once, but everyone knew what time it was. In Toronto, things got tense too. OVO fans were riding hard for Drake, posting pictures with captions like "Real Kings don't get banned." But even some Toronto blogs started questioning whether Drake had gone too far with his original subliminal. One popular page wrote, "Kendrick gave Drake a lesson in real-world respect. Not everyone forgives industry shade." As if that wasn't enough, another plot twist dropped. A leaked voicemail surfaced. allegedly between Drake and one of Kendrick's former collaborators. In the recording, Drake's voice can be heard saying, "I don't need his city. I've built my own world." Whether it was real or not, the timing was bad. People took it as a shot at LA and doubled down on the hate. The streets were saying he disrespected us twice. Kendrick's silence was deafening. Days passed and still no public comment. But insiders hinted he was planning something major, a statement event, not just a song. Word was he was organizing a massive free concert in the heart of Compton called The Homecoming. When that rumor dropped, fans lost it. Everyone saw it as a symbolic move, like Kendrick was claiming his territory, letting the world know the West belonged to him. Drake caught wind of it and tried to make a countermove. He announced an OVO pop-up show in Vegas for the same weekend. But guess what? Fans immediately noticed the location choice. Vegas, not La. People clowned him hard online. "Man running from the coast," one tweet said. Others posted memes of Drake standing outside a "Welcome to California" sign like he wasn't allowed past it, but here's where it got really wild. On the day of Kendrick's homecoming, an unconfirmed report surfaced that Drake's team had tried to send cameras to film parts of the event for his documentary series. When word reached Kendrick's camp, they allegedly shut it down fast. One eyewitness said they heard someone from TDE say, "We don't need no OVO eyes here." And that was the moment fans realized this wasn't just music beef anymore. This was personal. This was a turf war between global fame and hometown pride. Kendrick wasn't just defending himself. He was defending LA's identity. And Drake. He was realizing that not every city can be bought with money, clout, or features. As the night of the homecoming ended with fireworks lighting up Compton skies, Kendrick stood on stage, microphone in hand, surrounded by thousands of screaming fans. He didn't mention Drake's name, not once. But his last words before walking off said everything. "This city takes care of its own." And now we step into the part where everything spirals from drama into pure chaos. The kind of moment where even people outside of hip-hop started paying attention. The tension had been building for weeks, and everyone knew it couldn't stay in the studio anymore. Drake was tired of being painted as the villain, tired of people saying he couldn't come to LA. But instead of laying low, he decided to make a statement. And that's when things got completely out of hand. Word leaked that Drake was flying into Los Angeles for business meetings. But people quickly figured out that what he really wanted was to show face, to prove the so-called ban was nothing but rumors. On a sunny Friday afternoon, paparazzi cameras caught his jet landing at Van Nuys Airport. Within minutes, social media blew up. Drake back in law. People couldn't believe it. Was he really trying to test Kendrick's warning? The plan, according to insiders, was simple. Hit the studio, meet with a few producers, grab dinner in West Hollywood, and maybe pop out at a private event. But what Drake didn't realize was that his every move was being watched. Bloggers were live posting his location, fans were recording from their phones, and within hours, the entire city knew he was back. Kendrick's camp heard about it too. Not directly from him, but from the network of LA folks who stay tapped into everything. One anonymous DJ told a podcast later, when word hit the streets that Drake was back, people started calling each other like, "Yo, he really here?" It was like the city went on alert. That night, Drake showed up at a restaurant on Sunset with his crew. Everything looked normal, the smiles, the photos, the drinks, but people could tell there was tension in the air. A group sitting near him whispered to TMZ later. He looked calm, but every few minutes, he kept checking his phone, like he was expecting something. Around 10 p.m., a few men reportedly showed up outside the restaurant. Nobody recognized them, but they didn't come in. They just waited. When Drake's cars pulled up, the men followed them for a few blocks before disappearing. Security took it as a warning. Drake's bodyguard told him straight up, "We should dip." By morning, the headlines were wild. Drake's comeback sparked street response. Even though nothing physical had happened, the message was clear. Law was watching him. And Kendrick, Still dead silent. Not a post, not a word. The quiet made it worse. Not a word. The quiet made it worse. People started speculating that something even bigger was brewing. Some said Kendrick was working on a full-length response film. Something symbolic that would tell his side of the story in a creative way. Others claimed he had footage from years ago of industry encounters that would expose the truth about Drake's attitude behind closed doors. Whether any of it was true didn't even matter. The rumors were enough to keep everyone on edge. Drake tried to get back in control of the narrative. He went live on Instagram, trying to laugh off the whole situation. "I'm good, man," he said with that trademark smile. "Nobody banned me from nothing. I'm just out here working." But fans could hear it, that slight tension in his voice. The smile didn't hit the same. The chat blew up with comments like "Cap and bro nervous." Kendrick didn't respond to the live. But the next day, a mural popped up overnight in Compton, a massive painting of a crown tipping over, with the words "Respect the Coast" underneath. No one claimed it, but everybody knew who inspired it. Fans called it the silent shot heard around the world. The symbolism was brutal. The message being that the so-called king had lost his crown on the West. The situation had now become cultural. Law radio stations started debating whether Drake's music should even be in their rotation. One DJ said, "Look, we grew up on Kendrick. Drake's cool and all, but this is home turf. We protect our own." Callers flooded in, half defending Drake, half siding with Kendrick. Even older legends like Snoop and Game were being asked their opinions. Snoop, being diplomatic, said they both kings in their own right. But the smirk he gave after that said enough. Then came another twist. A few days later, Drake's camp released a new song snippet online, one that sounded suspiciously like a diss. The beat was dark, haunting, and in it, Drake rapped, "Your city love you 'cause you never leave it." The internet went crazy. Some fans said it was genius. Others said he was digging a deeper hole. Within hours, Kendrick fans were editing the line into memes like "Drake, trapped behind the Hollywood sign with access denied" written across it. And if that wasn't messy enough, one of Kendrick's old collaborators, a singer who'd worked on his early mixtapes, did a live interview where she said, "I've seen Kendrick mad before, but this is different. This time, it's personal." She wouldn't explain more, but it sent the blogs into a frenzy. People started guessing maybe there was something deeper, maybe something behind the scenes that nobody knew yet. Betrayal, business, something way past lyrics. Then, one Friday morning, it happened. Kendrick dropped a surprise track. No rollout, no teasers, just a link posted by Baby Keem with the caption "For the City." The song was called "Forever Yours." But this wasn't a regular diss, this was an anthem. Kendrick painted a picture of a man who lost touch with authenticity, who built castles in other people's homes, who wanted love from every place but didn't belong anywhere. The metaphors were clear and the tone. Surgical.com, but lethal.social media went nuts. Fans called it the funeral track. Within an hour, Drake's mentions were flooded. People were saying Kendrick had done what no one else could, dismantled Drake's aura without even raising his voice. Drake's camp went quiet again. A close friend posted a cryptic tweet that said, "Even kings bleed sometimes." That's when fans realized maybe this time Drake wasn't going to respond. Maybe he knew the battle was lost, at least on lost soil, but if you thought that was the end, oh no, because what happened next turned the whole situation from a feud into a full-blown Hollywood-level scandal. Just a few days after "Forever Yours" dropped, someone leaked a short clip from what looked like a security camera. It showed Drake's entourage having a heated argument with another group in a parking lot. The location, allegedly West Hollywood. The audio was muffled, but you could hear shouting, someone saying, "You think we scared to come here?" The clip spread like wildfire. Blogs framed it as Drake's people confronted in law, and started calling it the parking lot incident. Even though nothing violent happened, the footage made everything 10 times worse. People were saying, "This is proof. Law really banned him." Kendrick's camp didn't comment, but someone from TDE posted a single emoji, a stop sign. That was enough to set the internet on fire again. Every fan knew what it meant. Stop coming here. And that's when Drake, cornered and frustrated, made the one move that nobody expected, a move that would flip the narrative completely, for better or worse. So here's where everything exploded into pure chaos. That point where the internet stopped treating it like rap gossip and started calling it a cultural war. People were saying this wasn't even about Drake and Kendrick anymore. This was about Canada versus California, fame versus authenticity, industry versus community. Every move Drake made from here on out was under a microscope. So after the parking lot clip went viral, Drake went dark for a few days. No posts, no stories, no sightings. People thought maybe he finally got the message, stay out of LA. But then, out of nowhere, TMZ dropped photos of him leaving a private hangar at Burbank Airport with an entire film crew. The caption read, Drake shooting something big in LA. Turns out, he was filming a short documentary called The Cost of Kingship, supposedly meant to address misconceptions about him being banned. Insiders said he was determined to tell his side, not in an interview, but through visuals, through art. That's classic Drake, right? Make pain cinematic. But Kendrick's fans didn't see it that way. They called it damage control. Memes started flying instantly. Bro can't come to LA without security and a film crew. Others posted fake movie posters titled The Sixth God, banned in law. The internet was ruthless. Then something wild happened. One of the film crew members allegedly leaked behind-the-scenes audio from the shoot. In it, you can hear Drake saying, I've built bridges everywhere. They just mad they can't tear mine down. Fans split in half. Some said it was the hardest line he'd dropped all year. Others said it proved he was missing the point. Kendrick didn't respond directly. But a few hours later, Baby Keem tweeted, Bridges only matter if they still lead somewhere. No context, no names, but everybody knew exactly what he meant. Now here's where the story took a dark, emotional turn. A few days after that tweet, Drake's longtime friend and UVO producer, Noel, posted a long message on Instagram. He wrote, I've seen what this doing to bro. Y'all think it's just rap, but this energy, it's getting heavy. The world treating him like a villain for chasing greatness. It wasn't slick or dramatic, but it hit fans in the gut. Suddenly, people started realizing maybe Drake wasn't just fighting Kendrick. He was fighting isolation. The pressure of being on top too long. But just as the sympathy started to build, Kendrick made his biggest move yet. He announced a secret pop-up show, but not just anywhere in the middle of downtown Law, the heart of the chaos. The flyer was minimal, just a red dot with the words for the city. The show sold out instantly. People camped overnight. And the rumor was Kendrick was going to perform Forever Yours live for the first time. Drake saw that as a challenge. According to insiders, he hit up his team and said, book me something this same night. They scrambled to find a venue, ended up locking in a private event at a Vegas resort. 2 shows, same time, different cities. It was like the universe split in half. On the night of Kendrick's show, downtown Law was electric. The crowd was massive, the air buzzing with pride and tension. When Kendrick hit the stage, he didn't open with a hit. He opened with silence. Just stood there for a full minute, letting the crowd chant his name. Then he said, we don't run from the world. We make the world come to us. The crowd went insane over in Vegas. Drake's show was flashy, all lights and production. He performed City Views and Forever Grateful. And at one point, he stopped mid-song and told the crowd, real ones, no love don't come with borders. The Vegas crowd screamed for him. But you could feel it. The tone was different. This wasn't confidence. It was defiance. And then, as both shows were happening, fans started comparing live footage in real time online. Twitter turned into a battlefield. One clip of Kendrick performing Forever Yours got millions of views in an hour. Another clip of Drake talking to his crowd had fans saying, bro, look tired. The comment sections were wild. Some said Drake was fighting for his soul. Others said Kendrick had already won the war without raising his voice. Then came another twist out of nowhere. J. Cole jumped in. Yep, Cole, who'd stayed out of the mess, dropped a surprise verse on a remix of a rising artist's song. And in it, he said to King's Beefin', "While the throne get dusty, people lost it." Cole was basically saying what everyone was thinking. That the beef was getting toxic for hip-hop itself. Kendrick's fans took it as a peace call. But Drake's fans took it as shade. Now, Cole was trending too. It was madness. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, executives were freaking out. Both artists were losing major brand deals. One major streaming service even considered pulling both of their catalogs from playlists to cool down public tension. That's how big it had gotten. And then something emotional happened. Kendrick appeared in a surprise interview with a local LA radio station, his first public words since the feud started. He didn't say Drake's name once, but he spoke in that calm, philosophical tone that only Kendrick can pull off. "It's not about who wins," he said. "It's about what message you leave behind. We losing the message, chasing the money." That one quote went everywhere. Artists started reposting it, fans turned it into shirts and captions. And for the first time, it felt like maybe Kendrick was done fighting. Like he'd said what he needed to say. But Drake, nah, he wasn't done yet. That same night, he posted a photo of himself sitting in a studio with the caption, "One last thing." And everybody knew what that meant. He was about to drop a track that the industry froze. Everyone waited. Bloggers were refreshing feeds every minute. Kendrick's camp stayed quiet, almost eerily so. And then just after midnight, Drake released the song. It was called The Letter I Never Sent. But here's the twist. It wasn't a diss. It was emotional, reflective. He rapped about brotherhood, pride, legacy, and regret. "I built a house on every coast, but forgot what home feel like," he said. No subs, no smoke, just honesty. By the end of the song, he even said, "No hate in my heart for any man who stood his ground." Fans were shocked. People were crying in the comments. Even some Kendrick fans admitted, "This the Drake we missed." Overnight, the entire tone of the feud changed. The next morning, Kendrick posted something simple on his Instagram story. Just a peace emoji and a photo of the Compton skyline. No words, but that gesture said it all. The beef was over. Well, almost. Because there was still one last surprise waiting to shake the internet to its core. See, a week after the piece posts, a clip surfaced online from that night of Drake's Vegas performance, a clip that hadn't been seen before. In it, Drake's mic picks up his voice between songs, saying quietly to his DJ, "They still won't let me in the city, huh?" The crowd didn't notice, but when the clip leaked, fans caught it instantly. Some said it was fake, some said it was real. But it reignited all the speculation again. Had the ban really been lifted, or was Drake still persona non grata in LA? That's the cliffhanger that had everyone talking. Because in this story, even when the music stops, the drama never really does. And that's when the internet started asking, is it really over? Or just beginning again in a different way? And that's the crazy part, right? Even after all that, the confrontations, the diss tracks, the leaked clips, and the peace gestures, nobody really knows where Drake and Kendrick stand today. Did they actually squash it behind the scenes? Or are they just keeping the smoke low-key until the next move? Some fans swear the ban is still real. Others say it was all just power politics, a lesson in respect, not revenge. Either way, the world's watching. Because one thing's for sure, nothing in hip-hop will ever be the same after this. Think about it. Two of the biggest names of this generation going head-to-head over legacy, loyalty, and who really runs the West. Drake might have taken hits, but he showed a side of himself we've never seen before. Vulnerable, human, real. And Kendrick, he didn't just protect his city. He reminded the world why authenticity still matters in a culture that's been drowning in hype. This wasn't just a rap beef. It was a reflection of the entire industry. Fame versus foundation, ego versus purpose. But what do you think, though? Do you think Drake's really banned from law forever? Or did he and Kendrick already make peace behind closed doors? Was this all genuine tension, or one of the most genius marketing plays we've ever seen in hip-hop? I want to know your take. Drop your thoughts in the comments right now, because the debate is heating up again. And if you made it this far, make sure you hit that like button, because this story just keeps unfolding. Subscribe to the channel if you're rocking with the content, cause we got even more crazy updates coming. And trust me, the next one's about to break the internet. Turn on those post notifications so you don't miss when we drop part 2 of this saga. Until then, keep your ears to the streets and your eyes on the timeline, cause in this game, loyalty changes faster than a chart position. It might be over for Drake and Law, or it might just be the calm before the next storm. Stay tuned. Stay tuned.